extratug.com for exclusive content that YouTube won't let me post, and also a bunch of perks you have to see to believe.
All right, so we didn't stick the landing on this one. That's not to say that this year has been a masterfully crafted floor routine. It's been a pretty dramatic shit show front to back. But I mean, goddamn, the liberal cope inside of my heart right now is palpable. It's burning blue hot. But even though this year was dominated by a billion-dollar election cycle, a lot of other things happened, and some of the things that happened were brat. That's a 2024 term that I hope we leave in 2024, god damn it. So just like last year, Big Tug's gonna break down the last 365 days to remind ourselves just how bad it actually was. So go ahead, sit back, pour yourself a little flute of champagne, realize that is nowhere near enough alcohol to erase the memory of this year, and get out the pint glass. Here's to forgetting 2024 and trying to remember the most happy and memeable moments in the year instead of all the horrible, horrible things. So to begin, instead of watching the ball drop, let's talk about all the people who dropped the ball really hard this year. And that, whatever, it's a fun little joke. Category of the biggest ball drops of 2024. This is when certain people or entities did something that was supposed to be good, was not good, turned out to be really bad, and now we're gonna make fun of them for it. For example, let's talk about the Elmo tweet fiasco. In January of this year, whoever was in charge of the social media for Sesame Street made a simple yet devastating mistake. In a seemingly innocuous move, they had Elmo tweet, "Just checking in, how's everybody doing?" And guys, this shit got way too real, way too fast. This tweet went viral almost immediately. It had over 200 million views in just under 3 days. And almost every one of the thousands of people who replied to this tweet were just trauma dumping on poor Elmo's little ears. Does he have ears? People were saying shit like, "Elmo, my wife left me. Elmo, the earth is melting. Elmo, there are like 10 genocides happening at once right now." And what's worse is, Elmo left everyone on red. He didn't reply to one goddamn tweet. And I can't blame him. Elmo is canonically 3.5 years old. 3.5, and he puts the half in there because that's important to a young kid like him. Eventually, in a PR cleanup move, Elmo did a bunch of morning talk shows to talk about the tweet and how important it is to reach out to your friends, which was equally as devastating. So there was a little good with the bad here, but Jesus Christ, learn from your mistakes. Stop tweeting at Muppets. If Muppets actually had the ability to ask people how they were doing, Jim Henson would still be alive. That's a dark joke. Up next in the ball dropping category is a topic I'm very passionate about, which is the Apple Vision Pro. Do you remember the Apple Vision Pro? Apple is known for its visionary products, its world-changing ethos, and perfectly priced technology. And they brought us big-ass tablets that acted like phones, but they just had screens, and it was $799. Get out your wallet, it's perfect technology. Make sure to buy it on launch day, because the battery's gonna shit itself in 2 years. I don't know if you can tell, but I personally fucking hate Apple. I've been a PC fanboy my whole life. Apple, I just can't understand it. I have an iPhone, because people make fun of other people for having green bubbles, but that's it. But the only thing that sucks more than overpriced Apple products is the fanboys that suckle at Steve Jobs' teeth. And in February, the geniuses over at Apple dropped the next big thing in technology, the Apple Vision Pro. Everyone go home, baby. They solved all of our problems. And the Apple fanboys, they were kicking toddlers in the teeth to get a screening of this thing in the stores. And what was the Apple Vision Pro? Well, let me tell you, it was game-changing technology. It was a VR headset. End of the list of what it was. You know, VR, the thing that Oculus and HTC Vive and even Steam have been doing since like 2015. Apple threw the hat in the ring, and then that's all it was. It had like the ability to have really good pass-through, like you could see the room you were sitting in and do things in front of you, but that was the difference maker. That's pretty much the only thing, and the fact that you could connect your other Apple products to the Apple Vision Pro, which every Apple product sells that as a marketing device. I can connect my PC to like my car. Like, that's not a big deal. It wasn't video game ready, which is a big reason why people buy VR in the first place, and it just lacked a lot of features. And this would all be okay if they sold it for $300 or $400. Fuck it, I'll give you $600 for this shitty product. But the retail price was $3,500. Are you people fucking stupid? Why would you purchase that? And then, just like the Cybertruck, for the first couple months, everyone really tried to like defend the fact that they bought it and how it's actually really useful and not shitty. I promise you it's not shitty. But if you notice, by the third month, everyone just shut the fuck up. Because it wasn't worth talking about because it was a fucking scam. Estimates for how much money Apple spent developing the Vision Pro topped $20 billion, but the company's projection of selling 800 units this year missed the mark by nearly 400,000. Their estimate was off by half, which is obviously, who do you think is buying this shit? And I don't know if you've noticed, but Apple's been not too chatty about, you know, the Apple Vision Pro. I think they discontinued it. So the ball was massively dropped, both by Apple and the fucking dorks who decided to buy this thing and flex on everybody else. There's like videos of people walking around town with these things on, like they're wearing a roller Rolex. It's embarrassing. All right, up next we have Boeing, and I'm going to be real careful about what I say in this segment because I don't want to die. But in January of this year, the door flew off a Boeing 737 plane during an Alaskan airline flight. And personally, I thought if a door fell off a plane, everyone would get sucked out of it immediately, but that's not true. I think everyone lived. But that was just the old tip of the iceberg in terms of what we would find out about the Boeing folks, because turns out that wasn't just a fluke. These boys are fucking up hard. The gigantic misstep of safety called into question quality control concerns at Boeing. And it turns out over the past 3 years, Boeing has been the subject of 32 whistleblower complaints. And I don't know about you guys, but I feel like you should be buying louder whistles, because 32 in a row that should have done it. And in the wake of this, the door flying off, 100 more workers filed complaints. And then things get really super dark, and it's why I'm scared to talk about this topic. In spring of this year, 2 high-profile whistleblowers were gonna testify against the company, and then they die. Mysteriously, they died. But that's tragic, but it's nobody's fault. Nobody is to blame for the deaths of these men. They were at their own devices. Joshua Dean died suddenly of complications from staph infection, and John Barnett died from an apparent self-inflicted gunshot wound. You know, classic, I'm about to testify in front of, Congress kind of move there, shooting yourself with a gun. A friend of Barnett's even claimed he told her, if anything happens, it's not suicide. But you know, suicide. People are often like doing pranks surrounding their own deaths. They're often like, this is gonna be a good mystery. We shouldn't really look into this further, and I personally will not be doing that, okay? But Boeing did drop the ball in a wider sense. What else? We have the Drake and Kendrick beef, and there's opinions on that, but I would say Drake dropped the ball because he lost so hard that he sued the record label or whatever the fuck. Like, that's just bad looks all around, so we're gonna give it to Drake for dropping the ball on that one. Also, the fact that he sued the record company for, like, pumping up numbers on Kendrick's songs, but he didn't sue Kendrick for defamation for calling him a pedophile? Little telling there, Drake. To one of hip-hop's greatest moments in culture, to one of hip-hop's lowest moments in culture, we get Ray Gun, the Australian breakdancer who broke the internet at the Summer Olympics with her, I'll say it, dog shit performance. When you think of breakdancing, you do not think of pretending to be a kangaroo. What the fuck is this? I'm only partially blaming her for this one. It's unbelievable that she was able to get away with what she did there. But, like, there is so much going on here that is wrong. Not just her terrible white person attempt at something so inherently black. It's just that it didn't seem like a black person was involved in any of this. The other dancers, yes, but like the Australian shit, what the fuck? She can try and justify her performance by saying it's her vision of self-expression and how that's what breakdancing is all about. But in reality, her performance amounts to someone who has no business occupying a space and deciding to do whatever the fuck they want while they're there. At its very best, it was disrespectful. Like, give that fucking position to someone else who's at least better at breakdancing. And you might think this lady would know better because she's a researcher and lecturer who studies the cultural politics of breakdancing. And that just goes to harken back to the fact that academia has got its head so firmly shoved up its own ass it doesn't know where it is. All right, that was enough. Let's move on to our next category, which is much more fun, which is the memes of the year. Now, memes are probably one of the most subjective things I could discuss in this video. We all have our own algorithms. We all get our own curated source of brain slop on our feed, so to each their own. I'm not sure how popular every meme is actually gonna be. So I'm just gonna hit the ones that seem to be the most influential this year and see just how far off base I am from the common memer. Number one, of course, we have Rap Boy Summer. This was very important to me. This was a very big moment in my life. Sure, they paved over the famous rat pothole in Chicago, but they couldn't pave over the adult horniness for rat-shaped men this summer. Someone on the internet noticed that, for some reason, all the hot boys in Hollywood right now have a mousy-ass quality to them. You've got Jeremy Allen White, Barry Cogan, Glenn Powell, Mike Feist, and me. They were talking about me, I would assume. After literally years of you guys calling me Rat Boy in the comment sections, I can only assume that was a profession of lust for me and not just you guys being really mean, because that would hurt my ego and devastate my brain. And also, overall, it was a big dub for short, mousy men that are out there. It's been a tough for us for a long time. This just helped us out a bunch. Also, I didn't know when to bring this up, but someone made this fan art of me a few months back, and it is horrifying, and the YouTube people, I put it on my Twitter, you guys don't know about this at all, so I just thought you guys should take a gander into what my fan base is like. Next up, we have the Haw Tua Girl. Oh boy, do I cherish the Haw Tua Girl. Wondering where we're at as a culture? Consider the Haw Tua phenomenon. One of the biggest memes of the year was a video of a cheerful young Southern belle describing how she gobbles knob. I'll admit there's something charming about her frank assessment and expertise, and now, just like any other semi-successful white person except for me, she has a podcast. The show is called Talk Tua, and it's on Jake Paul's podcast network. Now, despite everyone's ability to pretend like they don't give a shit, she definitely has something going for her. Her podcast is currently the 5th most listened to on Spotify, which I cannot believe.
Actually, no, that's not the truth, Ellen.
It's also spawned a great spin-off podcast called Talking Talk Tua, where these two guys sit down and like swirl their wine and talk very seriously and break down every episode of the Talk Tua podcast as if it's like drama. You guys should look into it. It's fantastic. But here's the thing. I think the Talk Tua Girl, or at least the people surrounding her, are genius.
If you guys are in crypto, you're most likely mentally ill. And I'm gonna count myself as mentally ill for even being here right now. And you guys should be kissing my ass because I'm trying to do something dope.
Not because she's some kind of comedian George Carlin, but her ability to stay relevant through hate and just, people talking shit about her is awe-inspiring. It seems like at every moment people start to forget about her, she ends up at like a fancy house party and people take videos of her and people are like, why don't I get to live that life? Or she gets a podcast on Jake Paul's network, someone else everyone hates. She just knows how to stay culturally relevant in a cycle of hate, and she's fully aware of that. She was just a normal, she doesn't give a shit. She would just be a school teacher if any of this was going back to normal. And since we're on the topic of absolute brain rot, how about we give it to the Costco guys? I love these dudes. We bring the boom! So in order to truly appreciate the father-son duo that is the Costco guys, we have to give a round of applause for the extremely annoying 2023 meme format, where X, of course we Y. Like, I'm a white guy, of course I'm racist. That's the format of the meme. That meme was dying, but these guys capitalized on it in a huge way. AJ and Big Justice took that meme's final dying breath and used it to breathe life into their socials with a Costco version. And that worked to an amazing degree. Like, it was uncanny how they acted in it. Like, it was very, I don't know how to describe it. They seemed soulless, but in a beautiful American way. Now AJ and Big Justice have become the Costco guys, and their lore is weird. AJ is a pro ex-wrestler. Big Justice is a small, portly child. The Rizzler comes into play down the line, who is not a child of the family, just a family friend, I believe. And they all scream about double chunk chocolate cookies and chicken bakes from Costco. And now they just do whatever they want. Like, they're doing food reviews, they made a catchy little song, they're actually doing WWE wrestling, like the whole family. And they use the boom meter to rate food on a rating of boom or doom. I like these guys. It makes me happy to watch them. And yes, at the very most, it's brain dead internet activity. I would say I enjoy these videos in an ironic sense more than anything, but this is like the exact opposite of why the Talk Tua Girls works. Like, I think a lot of people just want to see these guys do well. They're living the dream, and they seem like a good family to do it. Now, do I see this ending in tragedy when the money stops coming in and the dad already put a down payment on a mansion and now he's making the Rizzler and Big Justice do dance moves on TikTok and screaming at them? Yes, that's obviously gonna happen, but for right now, we're doing good, baby. I'm happy to watch it. Up next, we have the Wonka experience, or Willy, whatever. It's something I completely forgot to happen. The Wonka experience in Glasgow happened to be a lot of people's first experience with AI-generated marketing, and if I know anything about AI, it usually means someone is lying to someone else. Parents bought tickets for this. Fun, whimsical, definitely dodging a trademark, but no red flags besides that. But what they got was this. That looks like they're making meth, and that lady looks like she often makes meth. A lot of dreams died in that Glasgow warehouse. It was all a scam. It literally was like a big empty room with like a ball pit, and like there was one station, and there was also a creepy creature that was not in the book that was there named the Unknown. There was just so many bad things that happened here. Parents were so angry that they even called the police. And imagine getting scammed so bad that you step outside the building and dial 911 or whatever fucking Ireland has. I don't know what numbers they have. But yeah, good meme all around. Made me laugh my ass off the first time I saw it. That Oompa Loompa lady is fucking hilarious. And then we have Mudang and Pesto the penguin. Quick recap, Mudang was a baby pygmy hippo that everyone thought was super cute and they made memes about her. And Pesto was this freak of nature baby penguin that was growing exponentially fast, and people made memes about him as well. So there's two animal memes going on at once, and to be honest, I'm team Pesto. I kind of don't really fuck with Mudang at all. I mean, first of all, Pesto, he's a fucking miracle. A giant baby penguin towering over his relatives, and he still has the fur coat, and he waddles behind his mom like a penguin even though he's gigantic. How often does that happen? I'm not a scientist, but that seems like something to look forward to. But then like Mudang is just a baby hippo. That happens every time there's a baby hippo. But Pesto walking up to the glass at the enclosure and showing off his massive girth, being proud of it, that's something I can get behind. That's my king. So let's cap off the meme section with the notoriously underplanned New York Dublin portal. Do you remember this? An interactive video art installation was set up to live stream between the cities, and it was immediately abused horribly. You'd think it was the Americans on the side of the portal that would be the most misbehaved, and yeah, a lady like flashed her tits and they like held up potatoes, but the Dublin side was way worse. Dublin displayed pornography, they exposed their genitals and projected profanities from their phones, and they like would not stop showing pictures of 9/11. Like that's pretty much the majority of what they were doing. And in hindsight, That's pretty funny. I found that pretty humorous, but like I understand why they would have to shut the portal down. The screen was temporarily turned off, and I guess they rebooted it with more security and truncated hours, but I haven't heard anything about it since. But now they're putting one up in Philly. There's a portal in Philly. I don't know where it's gonna attach to, but do you think it's gonna be better? Philly is a fucking nightmare city full of nightmare people. We have one more that I snuck in here. We have Freak Bob. Maybe this was just on my feed. Does anyone know what Freak Bob is? Chris, you're gonna have to dig a little bit, but Freak Bob, you'd be watching like a reel of a meme, and then while you're watching it, Freak Bob would call, and then you're like, what the fuck? And then it would go away, and you're like, who the fuck was Freak Bob? And then one time, someone answers the Freak Bob call, and it's a really sad voicemail. So Chris, just put it up. It makes me laugh every time.
Hey man, it's Freak Bob. Thanks for answering.
All right, it's a good thing we had top of the shelf memes to look at while we stayed inside and scrolled on our phones this entire year, because most of the world was breaking apart and melting down. So let's go down the list of all the things that made me contemplate the meaning of life in the category of shit that went wrong this year. Okay, so number one, global temperatures rising. They keep doing that. They won't stop doing that. 2024 was the hottest year ever recorded, beating out 2023. So upward curve of hell. Earth has seen 540 consecutive months with temperatures above the 20th century average. Scientists predict temperatures will rise more in the next 50 years than they have in the previous 6,000, and the effects could displace hundreds of millions of people. And quick note to the people who think man-made global warming is a myth. Are you still thinking that? Or like, do you just think like, are we screwed? Like the earth is just doing that itself? Like, wouldn't you want to try and stop it as best you can? Because obviously we're all gonna die. Have you looked up wet bulb? Do you know what? Look up wet bulb and get back to me. Just who cares? Let's spend a little money and try and fucking fix this shit. At the very least, stop letting people dump shit in the ocean. I don't know. Why are you so against saving the earth? It's so weird to me. In the same vein of the earth shitting on us is the triple hurricane. If God is real, he's so mad at us. But the triple hurricane was just one in a long line of doomsday appetizers. Between July 13th and 16th, Americans saw over 79 tornadoes break out. The remake of the movie Twisters came out also, so maybe that was like a marketing campaign, but still not good. The economic damage of Hurricane Helene or Helene, whatever, I don't remember what it's called, alone is estimated to cost between $225 and $250 billion. And also, people think that the liberals did it. People think that the liberals made the hurricanes. A good portion of Americans actually believe that. What do we do? What are we supposed to do? Like, a lot of us have gone completely insane since the pandemic. Literally, people have lost their minds. What do we do? Speaking of which, let's talk about brain rot. I mentioned it earlier, but brain rot is a real problem to me. But the string of nonsense that has got Gen Alpha cackling seems pretty different. The issue here is that kids have taken very specific moments in recent meme history, strung them together, and put them in incomprehensible sentences that are only funny to people who are in the know.
Were you the Peter Griffin skin in the only up obby? Jinx, you mean Edge Sesh. You got me. This is so crazy. It's like I woke up in femboy furry land. Like, is this Cat? Chat, is this Riz?
Mental illness is what this is. But each one of those words in that sentence has a history and a lore behind it that only the most fucking internet savvy people could ever understand. We continue to live in a plausible deniability of what, the internet is doing to our brains. But 2024 might be the last year we can do that because Gen Alpha is cooked. They are fried. Next up we have P. Diddy. Do you guys know about P. Diddy, what happened with him this year? I don't think we need to jump in this one too deep, but it just turns out that P. Diddy was to hip-hop and celebrities as Epstein was to celebrities and the government, if that makes sense. He was a fucking prolific, horrible sex maniac that YouTube will cut my dick off if I talk about him in too much detail. So let's move on to our next category, which is villain of the year, which now that I'm realizing P. Diddy should have been in that, but he was a network of badness. Like, he was way more than a villain. So in terms of villains this year, we have Trump. And I don't want to get that is political, but like, even if you wanted him to win, obviously he is the villain in that story. It's like a movie style plot. He has gold hair, he lives in a tower, he has henchmen. That's a villain. He is a villain. Moving on. Next up, we have Watcher. Remember that shit? Do you remember these fucking guys? I made a joke video about it in like 30 seconds at 11 at night one time, and that video did almost as good as any other video I've made. I almost pivoted to short form skit comedy. But the biggest PR disaster in 2024 had to belong to the crew at Watcher. The popular channel announced that they were leaving YouTube and putting their content behind a paywall. And not like Extra Tug, where I've been making content specifically for like that paywall media. They said, hey, you know that shit you enjoy watching? We're gonna take it all and we're gonna put it over here. You're gonna have to pay us for it. And that's fucking insane. If you know anything about making stuff on the internet, is that you can't give something for free and then take it away from people. You can make new things that they can buy, but like, once you do that, it's over. They made a dramatic video called Goodbye YouTube and their subscribers dropped like flies. Apparently, watching grown men pretend to be scared of ghosts for $6 a month isn't worth it. I like Watcher. I don't know why I'm being so mean, but like, come on, guys. Viewers thought this showed the channel had lost touch, and in 3 weeks following their announcement, they lost 1.3 million subscribers. They quickly launched an apology and took back some of their paywall restrictions, but the damage was done. Honestly, their channel was the only one that didn't benefit from this announcement. So many YouTubers, including me, benefited off of this by making fun of it. It was like literally almost philanthropy that they did for the rest of us. It was really fun while it lasted. Next up, we have MrBeast. What a 180 in 365 days. When it comes to actual charity, I believe we should leave most creators out of it, because in an industry that cares about nothing but cold hard clicks, you get frauds like MrBeast. Now, I'll be fully upfront. I've never watched a MrBeast video. Not once in my life. I've watched the first 3 minutes of one, and then I realized the editing style and YouTuber voice is something that's only for, like, once again, brain-rotted Gen Alphas. Like, I cannot handle that. And also, as a YouTuber myself, watching someone succeed to that degree makes me sick to my stomach. It is a jealousy thing, and I'll admit that. Anyway, just that's my personal taste. That specifically doesn't make you a villain. What does make you a villain is rigging contest results, faking videos, and creating giveaways that are essentially illegal lotteries aimed at children. And then there's the whole Chris thing, which wasn't MrBeast's fault, but it wasn't a good look. And now there's talks of insider trading, and people are proving the fact that he used AI to make his charity videos seem more charitable. Listen, I'm not saying all of this shit is true or that he's a bad guy, but some of this is obviously true, and that would make him a bad guy. But I guess that's what happens with all creators. Which, holy fuck, that's gonna happen to me. I wonder when the YouTube dam is gonna break over my forehead. But enough about the villains, let's talk about the heroes of the year. Let's make things happy for a second. Up first, we got Elon Musk. Elon Musk turned Twitter into X, which I can't do this fucking bit. You ruined Twitter for me. There's like actual Nazi shit on my feed right now. Like, I'm not interacting with it, but like, there's people praising Hitler in my algorithm. He's a fucking idiot. Anyway, moving on. Instead, I think, personally, a good hero of this year is Chapel Roan. I've been having a lot of fun with Chapel Roan. Chapel Roan is bringing back 2000s pop star diva vibes, and we've been missing out on that for a hot minute. Sure, we've had Taylor Swift for years, but her vibe is like horse girl vibes. You know, it's like a girl who brags about how good her handwriting is. But Chapel Roan, she's doing something for all of us. She's doing something for the pink pony girls out here, including me. She's larger than life. She's a lightning rod for culture that's fun for a change. She's empowering without being bland like Katy Perry, and edgy without doing whatever the fuck Charlie XCX is doing, which is cocaine. Chapel Roan put in the work too. She's been fucking toiling around for 10 years before she finally got her big break. Honestly, that's an inspiration to creatives everywhere. That's hero material. And yeah, she keeps canceling shows and telling her fans to fucking chill out every once in a while, but we need that. We need that in our culture right now. Stan culture and parasocial relationships have gotten way too fucking insane. It's like that idol culture in Korea. She did a good job pointing that out and did it with a little bit more elegance than Doja Cat did a few years ago. Chapel Roan has not given up, and she's doing it on her own terms, and for that, I am a pink pony girl. Pink Pony Club. I love that song. Next up for the hero of the year, we have the Yankees. As a Boston fan, let me explain. These guys were the heroes of the baseball world, willing to lay down their lives so we could be free to enjoy ours. The villainous Yankees finally took the role of the heroes when they fucking choked so goddamn hard in the World Series. God bless the Yankees. They lost so fucking hard, dude. Oh my god, they lost so hard. It was so nice. They choked harder than a toddler at a Cheesecake Factory. They ate more shit than Charles Lawton. Going to Manhattan and watching Yankees fans every game slowly lose hope, pretend like they had a chance. Oh, it gave me 10 more years on my life. Hating the Yankees is more important to me than loving the Red Sox. I swear to God. Yankee Stadium and Yankees can go suck a big fat wiener every day of the week, baby. And also, last second shout out for hero of the year, Simone Biles. I love Simone Biles so much. If I could spend a day with anyone at their job, sign me up for a Simi B. I want to see her work in action. She's got spunk, charm, and she nailed the Yurchenko double spikes, whatever the fuck it is, so emphatically that they renamed the move after her. She's only 4'8" and can jump the height of 12 feet. My short queen is living above the rim, and the Olympics this year, even though Ray Gun kind of ruined it for a lot of people, she was the shining star. She's been so good for most of my adult life, and I feel like we don't give her enough credit. Simone Biles, you are my queen. So I'd like to end 2024 by thanking all of you, my sweet tuglets, my sweet little tuggaroos. I love making content for such a cool and frankly mentally ill community. You guys are the real ones, and that's why this channel full of Wikipedia rabbit holes and Tony the Tiger thirst traps works. So that being said, I think it's only fair if I keep it real with you guys and you know, bring up the fact that I've made a bunch of mistakes in this year in my scripts. As Redditor Arkham Inmate 11 so eloquently put it, Tug is a comedian, not a scientist. His job is to make us laugh, not make us smarter. And he's right. I get a lot of shit wrong, and I'm not doing it on purpose. I'm just not like an expert researcher. When I read scientific terms, I'm kind of just guessing sometimes if it gets too complicated. I fuck up a lot, so I wanted to clarify some of those fuck ups so you guys understand that I'm trying my best here, and that I'm willing to admit defeat when I need to, so that we can all go into 2025 with a clean slate, okay? Number 1, Antarctica. In my Antarctica video, I claimed that Antarctic sea spiders don't have any close relatives, and that was extremely wrong. The truth is they are very closely related to horseshoe crabs. Obviously, there was a lot of science shit going on on the Wikipedia there, and I got confused with some of the jargon, so I regret this error full-heartedly. Number 2, in my aliens video, a lot of people got mad at me for that one. I did not give ancient civilizations enough credit for being good at building stuff. I said that aliens built the pyramids, and a lot of people called me racist for that, and I wasn't ready for that. I didn't know that was a thing. I grew up watching Ancient Aliens. I didn't know there was discourse about this, so that's on me. That's on me. I will say that I was completely wrong about aliens building the pyramids. The Egyptians were fully capable of completing that construction by using their slaves. They used slaves. I'm just fucking saying. Weird Wars. In my Weird Wars video, I accidentally said that the Trojans built the Trojan horse, which was a fuck up on my part. It was the Greeks who built the Trojan horse and gave it to the Trojans, which still confuses me, and that proves my point that, like, obviously I'm a dipshit. And also, that never technically happened. That's like folklore. But regardless, I got that wrong. I apologize for the error. In my anime video, and this one was a huge fuck up, I said that Pokemon started with the anime, but we all know it started with the video game. I am shocked that I got this one wrong. I must have just been like rewriting the script and I got fucked up somewhere, but like obviously it started with the video game. I don't know how I fucked that up so bad. I'm sure I'm missing more, but those are the big ones. If you guys know any other ones, let them down in the comment below, and now I'm opening up the floodgates for you guys to fucking pick me apart. But besides that, there is one more error I would like to address, and I'm talking to one of you. One single viewer who has been plaguing my videos for at least 2 years now. Every single video I post, within the first 20 minutes of that video going up, a fella named Anders Stormo has commented on the video. And every time, he only comments one thing, and it is the question: what are your thoughts on the current economic crisis in Sri Lanka, and what do we think we could do to fix it? Without fail, he hasn't missed a single video. The error here is that he is correct. I have been avoiding the question, and I have let this go on for too long. So here we go, Anders. Do you want to know what I think about the economic crisis in Sri Lanka and what we should do to fix it? Sri Lanka's ongoing economic crisis is primarily caused by high debt, inflation, and a lack of foreign exchange reserves. This has led to widespread poverty and social unrest. To address this, the government must focus on fiscal reforms, securing international financial assistance, and diversifying its economy to reduce dependency on imports. Long-term solutions require tackling corruption, improving governance, and investing in sustainable development to build resistance against future crises. Okay? Okay? Are you done with that? It's over. I fucking answered that perfectly. Fuck off. I'll see you all in 2025. Like, comment, and subscribe. Check out my gaming channel, Big Tug Gaming, and thank you for the extra tuglets for supporting me through extratug.com. Head over there if you want to see videos that I can't post on this channel, as well as a bunch of other goodies like picking what I make videos about, and I don't know, you get to be a good friend of mine. Actually, that's not true. That's parasocial, and I'm lying, but there's all the names, and it's getting to the point where there's over 1,000 of you guys now, so I'm gonna have to make the text smaller or make this move faster. I'm sorry, but Jesus Christ, it keeps going. Thank you so much. And also, shout out to Chris for editing my videos this year. I really appreciate that. He's helped out a bunch. Shout out to you, Chris. Put your face up. Let people know. Put your channel down there. I know you got one. Fuck.